The Return of Light. Revelations from the Creator God Horus.
Chapter 1, Paradise Remembered. This chapter, like most, begins with an introduction by Elora. Throughout my lifetime, I have continually worked to push back the veils obscuring my memory of other worlds and other existences. Once I had conquered the barriers to past life memory on this earth, I found that I could go further back in time and could remember lives in other star systems and galaxies. It was not until the spring of 2002, however, that I began to recall what life was like outside this universe. At that time I was contacted in spirit by a beautiful young man who seemed deeply familiar to me. He told me he was my brother, from an existence in a universe called Verki and a planet known as Atia, and that he and my other two brothers had arrived in this universe to take me home. Despite the fact that many scientists now recognize not only the possibility, but the inevitability of multiple universes, I had a hard time believing all of this. Still, he was adamant that this was the truth of the matter. With the help of my brothers, I began to remember what it had been like in Verki. I have also been able to compare my memories with those of other friends, who know that they come from light universes. While the details of their remembrances differ, their overall stories are very similar to mine. As I explored my memories of Verki, I was stunned to realize that none of them contained pain or disharmony, even in the slightest way. Most of my past life Earth memories are traumatic, partly because Earth life tends to be that way and partly because it is the unresolved traumas that we remember most. However, in accessing my memories of Verki, I simply could not uncover any remembrances of sorrow, suffering, fear, illness, aging, or even of discontent. I realize how incredible this sounds, yet it is the truth of my recollection. I am not speaking of some remote heavenly realm here, or some between-life paradise, but day-to-day life on a planet, a world just as concrete as Earth. A common reaction may be that this sounds boring. It was not. I have experienced a great deal of tedium in my lives on Earth, but I remember none in Verki. Another reaction may be that it requires some amount of pain to appreciate joy. I also found this to be entirely untrue. In the Verki universe, all is beauty, harmony, and love. Evolution occurs through joy, not through suffering and struggle. The presence of God flows through that universe, like a great golden tide that is always at the full. While there is the free will to choose among many possibilities in life, the thought of doing anything negative, hurtful, or in any way outside of the flow of God's will is simply not conceived of. Nor is there any fear of being harmed, either by other humans, or by nature. Perfection reigns, and yet not a static, lifeless, and tedious perfection, but one which contains vibrancy, joy, and great creative challenges. On the planet of Atia where I lived, human relationships are considered a high art. Intimacy and love exist in exquisite delicacy and profound depth. Male-female relationships are practiced within a free-flowing, yet committed structure which ensures that love and partnership are always available to all, as at times of aloneness and communion with nature and God. Loneliness, abusive or unfulfilling relationships, and emotional pain of all types are unknown. The decision to bring forth a child is considered a sacred act, and each child is seen as a precious manifestation of the divine. From my memories of Atia, I know that nature thrives there in resplendent beauty. Trees, flowers, grass, birds, sea creatures, and land animals live there just as they do here, yet in complete harmony and glorious vibrancy. All forms of life, from the tiniest to the greatest, are honored, and all are part of the great tapestry of life. The whole universe evolves together. None are left behind, not the tiniest insect or flower. All beings are conscious, and all matter is filled with awareness, even the grains of sand shimmer with life as they lie on the shores of the jade-green ocean. It is as if the whole universe is one great symphony. There is no illness, and death is simply a conscious releasing of one form to move on to a higher one. Fear, pain, anger, and grief do not exist in the normal course of evolution, although my family did grieve and did fear for my safety when I left to travel to this universe and did not return as expected. As I accessed these memories, I knew that I had come to this universe along with many others in an attempt to set things right in this part of creation. I also knew that life in Verki was life as the Creator designed it to be. This book contains a great deal of information on what is commonly called the fall, which will be discussed in detail in the next chapter. Therefore, we have chosen to begin by taking a good look at the original design of creation and the nature and purpose of our Creator. The nature and structure of our creation. Heru, let us begin this discussion by defining several terms. Please define the term creation.
Creation is the manifested will of Prime Creator. It is a vast system of universes, and is structured, as you have seen, in the form of a flower. Prime Creator, or the Godverse, is the central source around which the petals of creation bloom.
Please define Godverse.
The Godverse is the dwelling place of Prime Creator, although Prime Creator is not limited or encapsulated by the Godverse. It is the place from which all energy originates, and all of the cosmic plasma that we Creator gods use to create form originates in the Godverse. It is at the center of all creation.
Please define universe.
A universe is a structure contained within a membrane. It is created out of the omniversal matter, which is a free-flowing, unformed, plasmic cosmic material that Prime Creator has made. The Creator gods take that plasma, create a membrane around it, and structure it.
Are all the universes set up as vast collections of galaxies?
Most are, but some are quite tiny, as the one I told you about that Durga, Sekhmet and I created. There are microcosmic universes as well. All of them have a certain similarity in structure in terms of the way matter and the elements are structured. There are considerable variations in size and theme, but the larger universes you would recognize.
Do they each have a great central sun?
Yes. That is integral to holding them together, and actually is integral in holding the outer membrane together.
Please define Prime Creator.
God is that which creates, sustains, and permeates all.
Please tell us about the nature of Prime Creator, about who and what Creator is, from your own knowledge and experience.
My eyes may see what yours do not, and that is the direct vision of the wondrous nature of our beloved Creator. This is a being without beginning or end, formless and yet formed at the same time, wondrous to look upon, brighter than all of the suns put together. And not only the brightness, but the purity of that light is incredible to behold. Out of Creator streams limitless light, streams infinite energy, streams the very space upon which matter hangs. That space is the thought projection of Prime Creator, and so Creator, being infinite, has created infinite space. Within that infinite space, Prime Creator has made many creations, of which this system of universes is but one. And within the space of this creation are hung, like the petals of a jeweled lotus, universe after universe, after universe, suspended in this infinite space, and hung with sustaining lines of energy. Then within each universe, as you know, many are the worlds and galaxies. So varied is this creation, that I would compare it to one of your deliciously beautiful, floribunda roses, where the bushes cascade blossom, after blossom, after blossom, each one so exquisite in its patterning, and its fragrance and its individuality. Creator has imbued, within every atom and every universe, its own consciousness, its own connectedness to itself. It is almost a holographic mirror that you could look into. You could look into any part of this creation, and know that Creator is there present, seeing you look, looking through your eyes, looking at creation, and mirroring back and forth and offering you this kaleidoscopic experience that is never ending.
Please say more about the structure of this creation.
The basic structure of creation, from the tiniest particle to the alignment of the universes, is all built upon the sacred geometric principles that are taught in some of your esoteric circles. Much has been written on sacred geometry, and it would benefit the reader to at least take a look at some of what has been written, to understand the divine nature of the human body and its proportions, and how that is a reflection of Prime Creator's infinite loving wisdom. The older universes, closer to the center of creation, are more basic and simple in their expression of the sacred geometric principles. As one travels outward into the newer universes, each arm of the spiral, so to speak, would show universes more and more complex and diverse in nature. The universe you are now living in is towards the outer edge and has a greater degree of complexity. This process is designed to be a never-ending spiral, to continue forever with an increasing complexity and increasing beauty. And there is designed to be communication between the universes, ambassadors, educational exchanges, all of that, so that there might be pleasure taken in the experience of each new facet as it is created, each new color that is discovered, each new form that can be created, fractaling out from the original forms into infinite variation. And in this there is no end to what can be created and discovered.
I have noticed that forms repeat themselves within this creation, in the microcosm and the macrocosm. For example, the great central sun of this universe has the form of a lotus, and the whole creation itself looks like a flower.
That is based on the sacred geometries which were set in motion with the first burst of creation. The plasma that the creator gods used to create with has, embedded within it, certain structures and formats with which to work.
So the entire creation, in fact, is in the form of a lotus.
Yes.
The Vedanta scriptures describe this. They describe the manifest creation as a lotus floating in the void.
Yes, and oftentimes they would often show gods, which would be creator gods, sitting on a lotus as well.
Why did Creator desire to make this creation?
To have a worthy dance partner, one that could receive fully the boundless love that Creator has, and one that was, as much as is possible, able to reflect all of the facets and gifts that Prime Creator has.
What is the overriding theme, or intention of this creation?
Beauty, harmony, rhythm, creativity, expansiveness, joy. When you look in this world, at the great beauty and diversity of nature, and you look at the nature of a fractal, and how incredibly gorgeous it is, as it expands in its complexity, you will get a small taste of what Creator is trying to express.
What was the Creator's intention for all beings, large and small, who would live within this creation?
The highest wish of Prime Creator is that each individual life form or aspect of creation would blossom fully outward in its expression to the pinnacle of its individual essence. And simultaneously, that it would have the awareness to look back at source, to know who it is and where it came from. The intention is to have a simultaneous full expression of individuation, and full encompassing of union with the Creator at the same time. Creation is designed so that anyone from a tiny insect to a galaxy would have that ability.
Please discuss the communication and oneness between all beings in an unfallen creation. For example, if I want to communicate with someone in another universe, can I do that easily?
Yes. It is a matter of thinking and it is done.
So there is no sense of separation.
There is not.
The whole creation is a living organism, and all the cells can communicate with each other?
Yes, and also there is the ability to be in more than one place, at one time. This is described in quantum physics. It is basically a matter of focusing on where you would desire to be, and you would be there.
Please discuss the connection and communion with God that is present for all beings in the light universes.
There is no concept of there not being communication, of there not being constant contact. It is in the air that everyone breathes. It is everywhere. It is the medium that everyone and everything lives in.
Is there pain in the light universes?
There is very little, and what there is would be the result of a connection between one of the light universes and one of the fallen universes.
What is nature like in the unfallen universes?
If any of our readers have visited areas of pristine wilderness and observed the beauty and the magnificence there, it would be a magnitude of perhaps 100 times more perfect. Imagine, if you would, one of those great breaking waves upon the Hawaiian shore, those that the surfers ride, and you see the beauty of the dynamic that creates such perfection of water falling upon itself. Then imagine that wave, 100 times more perfect. I can't put words to it, I can only tell you that, even with the forms here that are beautiful, it is better than that by so much.
Are there certain archetypal animals and plants that we would find in most of the universes? Would we recognize cats and horses, roses and oak trees?
Yes. You would recognize many similar forms, and also many variations. For example, there are variations in color between different worlds. There are places where the photosynthesis happens, almost like a red and green simultaneously. On this planet, you see some plants with red leaves, but there are other places where that color predominates. If you look at the red Japanese maples, you would see forests on those worlds, where there are varieties of trees, with different variations of that deep red, with some green, but the primary color being red. This occurs primarily on planets that would have a hotter blue star, and a different spectrum of light.
Please talk about the relationship between humans and nature in the light universes.
In terms of the relationship with nature, there is no concept of exploitation, ownership, or stewardship, as is taught in some of your scriptures. For to walk upon the earth is to walk upon the body of God. To swim in the water is to swim through the body of God. And to breathe, and to eat, and to drink, are to ingest the Creator, within the vehicle of the created, and there is no separation. Again, there is that complete individuation of the human combined with a total connectedness to God and nature. They are not seen as separate.
Is there technology and mechanization in the light universes?
You would not be able to separate nature from technology. They are seamlessly wedded in harmony.
Is there predation among animals in the light universes?
It is somewhat difficult to describe. It is a harmony, and a play which is acted out between predator and prey, where permission is asked, and permission is given. Once the permission is given, it is a service of the prey to be consumed by the predator. It would be much more akin to the river merging with the ocean, where the prey would consider its life form to flow into that of the predator. And it is a harmonious act. It is not gross the way it is on this planet.
Is there pain?
No. I would also say that the human-type life forms on those planets are all vegetarian. The animals which on this planet are omnivores, such as those in the canine family, would be vegetarian in an unfallen universe. It would be only the felines, and a few of the fish, and a few of the birds, who would be predators. In the light universes, predators are in a very small minority, but they serve a function. There are also some carrion animals and birds as well, but less so than here.
In our world, when a cat catches a mouse, she plays with it in a very cruel way. Is this a distorted reflection of the harmonious playfulness that would occur between predator and prey in a light universe?
Yes.
Why are humans called the crown of creation?
They have the greatest autonomy and individuation inherent in their character, and the greatest ability to reflect Prime Creator to each other and back to Prime Creator. More than just about any other creature, humans really get to enjoy the fullness of the beauty of creation. Having a high metabolism and mobility gives humans the ability to explore, learn, enjoy, absorb, and reflect to the fullest extent.